Do you want to see the most ridiculous one-year performance chart? Take a look at NIO, up over 1,600%, making millionaires during the worst economic times we've been through in a century. Impressed? Yeah, me too. And NIO has really caught the attention of pretty much every single investor out there, and for good reason. Now, full disclosure, I want to get this out of the way. I am a NIO shareholder, and you can see here that I'm up 568% on this position. So I'm definitely speaking from a very comfortable position here with my shares. But the point I'm trying to get across is that no, this is not a NIO bear video. I'm not here to tell you to sell your NIO stock, panic fear about NIO and all that kind of fear mongering. But instead, the point of this video is to kind of bring to light a few things that I've noticed recently. And because I have an audience here on YouTube, I kind of get insight as to what the general sentiment is out there with retail investors. And I want to share that with you guys today. I see something very dangerous happening right now, and I think a lot of retail investors like yourself could potentially get burnt. So listen up, I'm gonna discuss all of that in this video. More specifically, what I do want to touch upon is, first off, why is everyone so optimistic on NIO stock right now? What's going on with it? Secondly, priced in. Is everything priced in right now? What are my predictions for their upcoming earnings results? And then third, what is my plan with my shares of NIO for this upcoming earnings report? I will share that with you guys. So please consider hitting that like button down below to show your support for the video. It helps promote this video and helps push it out a ton. You guys did amazing on the last video, but let's try to get at least 2,000 likes on this video. Now, whether you're a shareholder of NIO or you're considering buying NIO or you just don't care about NIO stock, this video is still going to be relevant because it's going to go through a common pattern that I see in the stock market when a hype stock like NIO runs up before its earnings report. There's definitely lessons to be learned in this video, guys, so let's get into it. First off, why is everyone so optimistic on NIO right now? Now, usually when we see a stock like NIO move up so significantly and we see a whole slew of good news come around this stock, investors start, rejoicing, there's euphoria, but then there's a small group that says, hey, watch out, the good news is priced in. And honestly, there is some truth to that. Stocks trade on their future expectations. Investors don't really care what happened in the past or what's happening today. They care about what's going to happen in the future. And what better bet than betting on an EV stock, which is definitely heading in a futuristic direction. As a result, investors are like, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to invest in NIO stock, which is the future. So now, whether you're in that camp or not, I know a lot of investors that are holding NIO stock right now are very optimistic on what NIO is going to do for their earnings, what NIO is going to do for the future, and they believe there's so much more upside in NIO, which may be the case. But first, before we get into all of that, let's talk about some news that's expected in the very short term here. I'm talking about like the next day, the next week, the next couple of weeks in NIO stock. First thing is that NIO has a 100 kilowatt battery event scheduled for November 6th, which is actually the day after recording this video. This is going to be a significant announcement because right now NIO only offers a 70 kilowatt hour and an 84 kilowatt hour battery, which is good, but this 100 kilowatt hour takes things to another level for customers. All you have to understand is that more kilowatt hours means more power and more range, and this will bring the ES6, one of their cars, from a 460 kilometer range to over 600 kilometers expected, and the new ES8 is expected to see a range bump from 415 kilometers to 580 kilometers. There's also more rumors circulating that they're working on an even larger battery than this, 150 kilowatt hour, which is another huge milestone, guys. So it shows that NIO is heavily involved in improving their battery and output power technologies, thus improving range for customers. For an EV company, in my opinion, there's nothing more important than their battery technology. That is the forefront. That is what's going to determine if they're going to be able to make money on their cars, if their cars are actually feasible, if their cars are something that consumers will actually adopt. Let's be real, no one's going to buy a car with 100 kilometers range, 200 kilometers range. They're looking for something with hundreds of kilometers range because they don't want to be stuck on the highway with range anxiety, not having a spot to charge, and all the other things that come along with EVs. Now, the other piece that NIO is expected to discuss is battery as a service, BaaS, which is something that I'm personally excited to see being implemented. NIO is expected to make some sort of announcement on this tomorrow as well. Now, recently they also said that 5 of their battery swap industry standards were officially approved for publication and will will be implemented from February 1st, 2021, so that's not too far away. So why is everyone so optimistic on Nio Stock today? Because there's just good news after good news after good news. Every week, Nio has something good going for it. Either analysts are bumping their price targets, the company makes an announcement, optimistic futures. There's just so much going on that's just helping the stock move higher. Not to mention, there is tons of big money flooding into Nio. Take a look at this chart. You can see the inflow of volume in recent months, and it's significantly more than Nio has ever had in its past. So this results in higher stock prices, and this tells me that big money is betting here on Nio. So now the question comes up, is all the good news priced in? What are my personal predictions for their earnings results? Guys, I've been hearing some ridiculously crazy price targets on Nio recently, and I'm seeing it time and time again pop up in my comment section. Hey, if you haven't checked out the comment section, take a look down below, leave a comment. We have a great community here for Nio investors, so share your thoughts. I read every single comment and I will try to respond to every single one as well. That being said, the common price target that I'm seeing time and time again is $300 per share. Let's take a second here and calculate what that actually means. So Nio currently has around 1.36 billion outstanding shares, and we're expecting, say, $300 per share price target. That gives Nio a market cap of over $400 billion. Guys, just as a comparison, this is Tesla's market cap today. But Tesla is a much larger company than Nio in terms of what they output and what value they bring. And Tesla also has a huge energy business. Tesla has other verticals that they're building, and Tesla builds everything themselves. Yes, that's right. Nio actually does not build their cars. They actually outsource their building to another company, and they pay that company a fee to build their cars, which is why this company has struggled time and time again to actually make profits. It's very difficult to make profits when you're paying everyone to do stuff for you. And that's kind of what differentiates Nio from Tesla significantly, because Tesla, from the top to the bottom, they're pretty much trying to build everything themselves. So to say that Nio is going to be a $400 billion company in the future, I think that's a very lofty and very optimistic, and with their current model, I have a very hard time seeing that. However, if Nio is able to just replicate what Tesla is doing, duplicate that process, vertically integrate everything, create an energy business, all this other stuff that Tesla is doing, then hey, maybe they actually can be a $400 billion company in the distant future. Now we know Nio is releasing earnings on November 17th, so that's about a week and a half away, yet the stock keeps moving higher day after day after day. And I see this happening time and time again, not just for Nio, but for many other stocks as well. Investors are just so excited that they're flooding money in, expecting a stellar earnings report. There's been so much good news, and you can tell by the views my Nio videos get on the channel. A lot of investors, retail investors specifically, are watching the stock and want to buy into the stock. So any sort of good news is a buying opportunity before an amazing earnings report. Now, speaking honestly, more often than not, when I see this sort of optimism and hype built up before an earnings, the earnings report performance typically is underwhelming. The stock, maybe moves a little bit higher, but more often than not, it'll either stay flat, or if something happens, they release some bad news, they release something that wasn't expected, maybe there's some delays, look out below. You know what? I'll be honest, even if Nio pretty much meets these high expectations, I could still see Nio take a significant sell-off, because investors are going to be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, they met my expectations, but you know what? I'm going to take some money off the table. I'm up significantly on this position. Let's take some risk off. And if enough investors start doing that, there's a lot of selling pressure, and then some investors are going to be like, hey, my cost basis is 35. The stock is approaching 35 now. I'm going to sell, and that just creates a snowball effect. Stock moves lower and lower and lower, and before you know it, minus 20%, minus 30%. These are numbers we could see in Nio after their earnings. Now, I don't want to scare you guys. I'm not trying to fear monger at all, because I'm being honest. I hold Nio stock, so it's in my best interest for the stock to go higher. Why would I want it to go lower? I'm just being realistic, and I'm just sharing with you what I've seen time and time again with many other stocks before. Stocks move higher on a lot of optimism. The company delivers on those reports. Great. The stock keeps moving higher, but at a slower pace typically. Second scenario, stocks moves higher. The company delivers reports and it misses. And that's typically when I see tons of comments in the comment section saying, what happened to Nio Stock? They reported and everything looked good and the stock's crashing. What do? I'm down on my position. Guys, think ahead. I'm making this video here about a week and a half in advance before earnings report to give you time to think and make a decision on what to do. The stock keeps moving higher right now, so this is a perfect time to figure out your strategy on what you want to do. The last thing I want to see happen to you is you left back holding Nio, you don't believe in the company, you don't understand the company, and you just believe that investing is a huge scam and you never invest ever again. That would be such a shame, and I hope by watching this video it actually kind of, gives you a little bit more perspective and kind of forces you to have a game plan regardless of what happens with Nio. Oh, also, so typically when a stock moves up towards its earnings, especially significantly up, a few days before the report, you'll see some selling because some investors are taking that risk off the table. So don't be surprised if Nio sees a pullback right before the earnings report. That's completely normal, and that's kind of actually what I'm expecting to happen here. Now, personally, my opinion is that Nio will report a strong quarter, probably a record quarter, record deliveries, and they probably will post the least amount of money lost in a single quarter, which is all good signs for the business. Now, I don't think that we're going to see anything significantly different from what analysts are expecting. Maybe next year when battery as a service is out, we'll see a lot more fluctuation in what Nio reports versus what's expected. But as of right now, they're kind of trending in the same direction that they have been for a little while. They're reducing their losses, they're growing the business, and that's something investors have just come to expect now. That being said, one thing that I think we will see either right before earnings, maybe on earnings, maybe slightly after, is some share dilution. Nio has a history of doing this, and hey, when your stock has gained over 1,600% in a year, there's no better time to raise some more cash by diluting shares just in case tough times face the company once again in the future. It's not the best thing to do for shareholder value, but it definitely is a smart decision for a business that could be cash strapped in the future when they plan to expand much bigger. So yeah, I'm definitely expecting to see some sort of dilution here. The last one, I believe, was in August, and the stock has moved up so much since then that it's just a smart business decision to do that. Also, it may be a really good time to do this because there's just so much good news circulating around. They can just kind of hide this under the rug, we did some share dilutions. But we have battery as a service coming, and we have this larger battery coming, and all this other stuff. Hey, what can I say? I think that if they did this, can't blame them. It's a smart decision. Now, knowing all of this, what is my plan for Nio's earnings? Honestly, I'm gonna grab some fresh popcorn, butter it up, sit back, relax, and enjoy the earnings. No, really, I'm not joking. I will actually just be watching this earnings report, and I will not be getting involved at all with this earnings. Nio is one of the most volatile stocks in the stock market today, so an upswing, a downswing, it's very expected, and I don't think this earnings report is going to be any different than that. One thing I will watch though is to see if big money starts flooding into the stock before earnings, because that could mean, hey, there's a surprise announcement that they're about to make. So keep a close eye on the volume level, see if we see some significantly elevated volume with the stock moving higher closer to earnings, and that'll kind of tell us some big funds are putting money and betting positively on this earnings. But also on the flip side, I could definitely see some hedge funds pulling out before earnings. Because you know what, if they bought in a few months ago, they're up a couple 100% on their position probably, and they can realize those gains, go to their clients and be like, look at my returns. I can gain 200% in the stock market in 2 months. Give your money to me and I will invest it for you. That's just perfect marketing right there, and I wouldn't be surprised if some hedge funds actually did do that. But guys, when it comes to me, I've said this time and time again, I'm a long-term investor. Long-term investor. So that means I don't plan to sell the stock for a very long time. I've been in the stock for about 1.5 years. That's a very short time in my opinion, and I don't see myself selling this for many more years to come. I'm gonna stick to my thesis, stick to my strategy of long-term investing, and I'm not gonna let this short-term price movement and fluctuations determine if I'm gonna sell out of the stock or not. Sure, maybe Nio is overvalued today. Sure, maybe Nio stock can actually crash after earnings, but that's the reality of investing in a volatile stock. I've come to accept that. It's part of my strategy now. I implement it. I take advantage of volatility in most cases, and like I said, popcorn, popcorn, popcorn. I'm just going to enjoy the show. Also, if investors are right with the $300 price target, I definitely don't want to be selling out here at $40 per share. There's definitely a lot more room to grow if that does come true. So guys, I'm just going to hold on and enjoy the ride. So I'm going to make it official. I'm going to call it right now, just so you guys know and have some peace of mind. I will not be making any moves in Nio stock before earnings. I will not be buying more shares. I will not be selling my shares. I will just continue holding, watch earnings unfold, see what they report, look at what they discuss, look at their future plans, and then make a decision on if it's time to sell some Nio stock or if I'm just going to continue holding for the foreseeable future. Looking at this chart here, oh, by the way, I get a lot of questions on this. This platform is actually called TradingView, and you can sign up using the link in the description down below if you want to use this chart as well. But basically, I like using technical analysis to support my thesis, and here we can see that Nio on a technical level is very overstretched. We can see the 50 moving average on the daily sits at around $25 per share with the current stock price at around $40 per share. So this is all the more reason I think if anything goes wrong during the earnings report, we come back down to this level of support, which is significantly lower than where we're at today. Guys, you know the saying, staircase on the way up, elevator on the way down. Just be prepared. I don't want to see any of you lose money on this, so please be smart about this and let me know in the comment section down below what your plan is to prepare for Nio's earnings. Either way, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for sticking around for this longer video. I feel you guys enjoy these longer videos, so I'm going to try to make more of these. If you do, let me know in the comments down below. But either way, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to invest positively, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.